Hello, everybody. It is November 3rd, 2020, and you know what that means. It is time to get out the vote. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit of politics, a little bit about positioning, and why it's important to get your ass out to the polling stations today and cast your vote, let your voice be heard. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me on the PR Bunker podcast. This is something that's a little unprecedented for me because for those that know me, know that I'm not a political guy. I don't dive into the issues because, frankly, what I believe in is what I believe in. And sometimes with politics, it's either black and white. There's really no gray. And I'm not one to swim in those arguments because, frankly, sometimes you can't win them. And especially today and with the election we have in front of us, Trump against Biden, left against right, donkeys versus elephants, all that kind of good stuff. From a PR perspective, I follow the bouncing ball, if you will, and the messaging, the positioning, how each candidate's attacking specific policies or audiences or how they approach the job. In politics, it's an ugly thing, right? It gets nasty, it gets personal, a lot of finger pointing, a lot of blaming, and it just gets really ugly, especially as we get down to the nitty-gritty here, and especially with this election and the way the world is today with a global pandemic, societal unrest, diversity and inclusion issues, all, great PR media fodder, if you will, which frankly, as an aside, makes my job difficult to get our clients in the media because the only thing the media is focused on is this election and all the bullshit that's floating around it. So regardless if you're on the left, you're on the right, you're somewhere in the middle, my advice to you today is focus on the issues. Think about the things that are important to you, your family, your friends, your colleagues, and that's where your heart should be in terms of voting. Yes, politics aside, the individual characters aside, it's about what they represent, who is in their camp, the types of things they believe in that's going to impact your life in one way, shape, or form. It's not about, flags and crazy, mask or not mask wearing events and hundreds of people hunting, hitting their horns and make America great again, or believing in the Obama-Biden regime that's going to be relived through the Biden's presidency. Regardless of where you sit, it's about getting, like I said before, getting your big ass out to the polling station today and voting and making sure your voice is heard, because that's what this is all about. What I find fascinating about this whole election is just the way that the counterbalance of the conversation has unfolded. There are days where you think Trump is in the lead and other days where Biden's in the lead, and sometimes those things flip-flop within the hour. And it depends on which media outlet you tune into and what particular show you turn into, what editorials you read, what newspapers you read. There's so much information out there. How the hell, as a voter, do you really understand which candidate represents your best interest, and then how do you make your vote so you feel comfortable in supporting that candidate? There's so much out there for you. And on one hand, it's great because there's all this information that's available to us, but on the other hand, what is real? What is not real? Is it legit? So do your homework, right? Really write down the things that are important to you and how do those particular ideals per candidate align with your ideals, and that's where your vote should lie. And I'm not going to sway you one way or the other because that's not my job. My job is really to, like I said before, make sure your voice is heard, get out there and vote, and support the candidate that you like that best appeals to your background and your interests. In terms of positioning for either candidate, you have one in Trump that is brash, that is bold, that's going to directly attack his opponent on everything and talk as if he's in a local bar with his friends. And some people really resonate with that, and it's brutally honest, and that's his approach. And you have to sort of respect the fact that he's going to speak his mind regardless of how you either like it or not like it. And that's an approach that some people will take, regardless of it's politics or in business, being bold and being brash and being sort of, as quote-unquote, out there. I think from the Biden perspective, I think his positioning has been, attacking the fact that, Trump is brash and he's out there and he's saying things that some people agree with or don't agree with. I think Biden's trying to, bring the Obama feel to things. And that's why Obama's out there for him. So I find it really interesting to watch the chess pieces move and how each camp is positioning themselves as we crescendo to today, which is, like I said before, such a critical time in our country. And it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. And I guarantee you it's not going to be clean by the time we're all said and done here. But what will be interesting is how each camp positions themselves one way or the other based on how the chips fall. So as we finish up this podcast today, again, the message is go out and vote. Get your butt out there. Let your voice be heard. Support the candidate that you feel best aligns with your interests, and do so intelligently, do so in an educative way. Understand what's going on, understand what's happening in the world, and make sure that it applies to how you feel the candidate represents your interests. So put all the BS aside, all the bullshit aside, and vote the way you feel you need to. Good luck out there, and I guess let the best candidate win. Thank you for joining me on the latest edition of the PR Bunker Podcast, or the Presidential PR Bunker Podcast. You can find me on the socials at Big Guy D. You can get this podcast on Spotify, Apple iTunes, and elsewhere. You can also get it at donmartelli.com. So please tune in and look to hear from you soon. And hopefully the election plays out as we expect, whatever that's going to be. See ya.